Hello. So I'm going to create a video showing how you can use AWS S3, which stands for Simple Storage Service, to host a static website. The way I kind of think of it, a static website can with S3 can be one of two different things. One is it could have a unique domain name. Well, they're all unique domain names, but it can have a domain name that you want. Like if you want your domain name to be hawking.edu, you can use S3 to host those files with that domain name that you pick and you choose of hawking.edu, amazon.com, whatever it is that you want. You buy a domain name, you register the domain name, you use that domain name from files that's hosted in S3. So that's one way to do it, and that's how I do it for some of my websites. But what I'm going to show today is how you can use S3 to host a landing page. It's a web page that you're wanting people to go to for whatever reason, to register for something, for some sort of event. You don't necessarily need it to have its own unique domain name. You just need a URL that anybody that has internet access can access. So what I am in is what I did was I created actually this website using Webflow, and what it is it's for Create, Build, Learn, which is something that we're doing over at Hawking College, just to get people more interested or becoming more aware of AWS Educate and some of the stuff that we can do in AWS Educate and Learn, such as AR, VR, IoT, robotics, gaming, things of that nature. So I do live in a little bit of a rural area, so my internet is kind of slow, kind of the whole digital divide thing kind of happening for me on a regular basis at home. So sometimes it'll be a little bit slow, and I'll try to pause it just to kind of bypass that. But so we'll go ahead and pause this. Okay, so a few minutes later, this page decided to download. It's my internet. So basically, what Webflow is it's a tool to create websites that's more drag and drop as opposed to everything from scratch. It's another form of using a template. This tutorial is not to focus on Webflow and to what it is, but this is basically how I kind of built this website. And again, it's meant to be more of a landing page. And let's see. So just like talking about robotics, RoboMaker, IoT, Sumerian gaming, and such. So I created this, and this is what I created from Webflow. Okay. So what I did after I created it, there were still some things that I really wanted to do with it that I was just having trouble getting done in Webflow with a template and just the way Webflow was. So what I did was actually export it by clicking on these little symbols right here. And this is the paid version. I did upgrade to a paid version. I think it's the first tier of the paid version, so I could export the code. If you have the free version, you're not able to export the code. So just be aware of that. So I'm going to pause this again because that's evidently going to take a while. Okay, I'm back. It's been, I don't know, several minutes, and this is still loading, so I'm not going to wait for that. I don't think it's just going to work for my internet, and that's not really the purpose of this video. So what it should do, eventually load, and then there's a button somewhere saying you can export it, okay? Again, and this is up if you upgrade it to one of the paid versions of it. And it exports into a zip drive, and then you extract that. And then what I do, because I got the most of what I wanted in Webflow, but there were some of the little things I wanted to tweak, and then I just had frustrations and I couldn't do it in Webflow because it is, you're working within the limitations and the nuances of what Webflow does. So then I just kind of open it up in VS Code and make the edits myself that I wanted to make. Okay. And then I have it downloaded, on my local computer, and I'm ready to push it out to the World Wide Web. Okay. So that's the process that I do this. Okay. So now I'm going back to, maybe, there we go. Okay. So now I'm in AWS Management Console. It's one of the ways that you can access the resources and services within AWS. So right now mine's under recently visited services, or you can click on all services, or you can just do a search if you know what you're looking for. I'm just going to type in S3, which is scalable storage in the cloud. It stands for Simple Storage Service, I believe. It's like 99% that's what it stands for. Simple Storage Service. It sounds right. Okay, let's see how fast this is gonna go. Doing decent. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this. Okay, I'm back. So once you have S3 or you go to the S3 console, what you're going to do is you're going to create a bucket. So create a bucket, and then you're going to enter a DNS compliant bucket name. So it has to be unique. I am going to name this one example for video and see if that's available. Looks like it is. So, so like I said, it has to be unique, like nobody else in the world can have it. And I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm going to hit next. And then want to pause. Oh, okay, it keeps going. So I'm going to hit next. I'm going to leave all that as default. And I am going to try to remember. I'm going to uncheck this, and I'm going to just check the first two here. Okay, so we are not selecting to block public access to buckets and objects granted through the new public bucket or access point policies, and we're not selecting to block the public and cross account access. So I acknowledge, yep, and hit next, and then hit create bucket. Okay. So example for video. I got a bucket name example for video. So I can click on that. And I'm getting ready to upload some files here. So I need some files. So I'm going to pause this and get some files found. Okay, so what I did was, remember how I showed you, like if you exported it from Webflow, it would become into as a zip file. So create, build, learn. Oh, okay, it's a zip drive. You can see it's compressed. It's a zip folder. So after you extract it, it will just create a file folder, which you can access. And that's what I did whenever I downloaded this and created this landing page. So I'm just going to go ahead and open that up. I'm going to reuse this. And I'm going to just kind of move that down a little bit. And you can do this several ways. My typical default method is just to select everything. Try that again. Select everything. And then drag it. And then hit upload. So you can see it's making some progress here. I'm going to pause this again. Okay. So it says 1 success, 0 errors, which is great. So these are all the files that we uploaded from here. So you can see, like right now, the format of what an S3 bucket does, it is very similar to something we're already probably familiar with, is, you know, the file folder structure on our local computer. So that's how I kind of compare an S3 bucket. Think of it as similar, not exactly the same, but it has a lot of similarities in between, like a file folder structure on your computer. Okay, so we uploaded files. We have an index file somewhere in here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And this is a URL for the object, which is that HTML file that's uploaded. I'm going to click on it, and you're going to see that it's not going to work. Okay, so it's not working. And the reason for that is because these files are not automatically available to the public. You have to tell Amazon S3 that you want this to be available to the public. So I want to go back up a level just for the name of our bucket, which was example for video that housed all these files. I'm going to pause it. Okay, so I'm back. So that you can see, like I said earlier, we got all these files in these folders again. And I'm going to select them all just for my purposes. If there's only a few that you want to be made to the public, then you would select those. But for my purposes here, I'm going to select them all. And you go to Actions, and I cannot make them public yet because I missed a step. Okay, so let's go back up a little bit. I think it's under Permissions. Yes. Okay, I want to go to Bucket Policy. And I'm going to copy this ARN right here. Okay. I think that stands for Amazon Resource Number. Maybe that might not be right. It's an ARN number. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And I'm going to go to Policy Generator down here on the bottom. So as soon as this finishes, and I'm back. Okay, Policy Generator. So what we're going to select is S3 Bucket Policy. We're going to hit Allow. We're going to put the little star symbol. It's a wild card. And S3 is what we want. And then we are going to select Get Object. Get Object. And then the ARN number that I had as copy from here, we are going to go ahead and paste that in there. And let's see, hit Tab, and then we're going to hit Add Statement. So what this is going to do is it's going to generate a policy for us. And all we got to do is copy that. Right click, copy, go back to here, and paste this. So only thing I'm going to do just a little bit different just to make sure it covers all the videos. Again, using the wildcard is / and then the asterisk symbol, which again is a wildcard. And then I'm going to hit save, and hopefully I did this right. I'm going to pause this while it's thinking. Okay, so success. This bucket has public access. Now I know this looks like a warning symbol, which is usually no, oh no, something I did wrong, or it's not good. We usually don't associate it with something good. But this is this is a good thing, really. It's saying we have public access, which is what we want. It's just warning you, it's like, hey, this is now available to the public. Is that what you want? If it is, great. But it's just like a warning, a caution symbol. But this is good. So now let's go back to Overview. And let's see if I got this right. Okay, let me go back up. I messed this up already. Go back to here. And now as we select them all like we did earlier, go to Actions and Make Public. And give it a sec or 2 or 3. Hit pause because it's going to take a bit, looks like. Okay, I'm back, and it says, it's all done, make public, and it's going to do its thing. And it failed. Why did it fail? Access denied. Why is access denied? Okay, I'm going to pause to try to figure out what I did here. Okay, I'm back. So, okay, just a recap, and it shouldn't really need a recap because there's not been time that's gone past like there has been for me waiting for this to get work. Okay. Anyways, so what we're going to do is go back to permissions and bucket policy and wait for this to load. No, not bucket, block public access is what we were going to do. Block public access. So we're going to hit edit, and we're going to uncheck these. So none of these are going to be checked. In the beginning, whenever we created this bucket, if you recall, I had us uncheck the last two and not the top two. We're going to uncheck them all. And then we're going to type confirm for the instructions. And it says access settings updated successfully. Go back to overview, select them all, actions, and make public. Make public, and it should work. Okay. Now yours should say 1 success. Mine says 2 because I tried this before I went back and made the video just to make sure that it worked. So it worked for me the first time, which was 1 success. Worked for me just now as I'm recording this, that's 2 success. So now if I click on like the index file and click on this URL, it should hopefully go to the website, the web page, and it does. Slowly. Okay, so it goes to the web page. And you can see that there are some differences between, go ahead, that's still trying to think, between what this looks like and what this actually the final product looks like. That's because, like I said, I exported the code and then I tweaked it for what I want in my VS Code, and then I uploaded it. So that's how I like to use Webflow. I like to use Webflow to get the bulk of the stuff, get most of the stuff, get the big stuff, and then the little tweaking that I want to do just for the really customization. And I can't figure out how to do it in Webflow easily, and I know how to do it just in flat out code. I'll just do it in flat out code. Mm-hmm. So I got this, and you'll see the domain name or the URL. I keep saying domain name, but it's probably not the correct terminology. It's not the correct terminology. It's the URL. It has example for video, which, let me go back here a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to right click on this. Try that again. Right click and open link in a new tab. Just to kind of go back and forth. Okay, so the URL is example for video. And if you look on my S3, that's the name of this bucket, example for video. S3, which is the name of the service. Amazon AWS.com, which is AmazonAWS.com. And the index.html is because that is the name of the file. So that's how those URLs read. Okay. So we got that. It's working. It's live. Somebody just has to click on it and it works. And let's just make sure that the hyperlinks work. It should work. So I don't think any of this went into an internal one. I think everything was going to an external, which means like if I click on what is Sumerian, it should go to the AWS Sumerian website talking about what Sumerian is. Try that again. It's not. What about this one? Okay, that one works. Evidently, I didn't put the links in here. Something I need to fix. Oh, that one works. Okay, so it looks like that one is just missing. Something I should fix. Okay. So you get the idea. These are all links, hyperlinks to, I think they all pretty much go to an external page, which is on AWS, talking about what those AWS services are. And then this, I embedded it from Google Forms. I'm not going to get into that, but it's really easy, which is one of the other reasons that I just kind of exported the code from Webflow and did it in VS Code just so I could import this Google form. Okay. So going back to here, going to my bucket home thing, for example, for video. Pause this while that's loading. Oh, there it goes. So now I'm going to, I think, properties. Yes. So properties, and then we're going to static website hosting. Try that again. Okay. So our endpoint is going to go to this HTTP example for video S3 website US, east1.amazon.as.com. And we're going to click use this bucket to host a website. So it's using this bucket, which has all those files that we have in there. And the index document is a document that we want the website, the web page to go to the first thing. So index.html is the name of the document. Just to kind of recap, it's like, remember, like that right there. That's the name of the document we want it to go to. If we had an error document, which I think there is from Webflow, which is one of the reasons I like Webflow, we could put that in there. I don't recall what it is, and it's not really important to this, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then I'm going to hit save. Okay, so now it's bucket hosting. So we have a static website being hosted on a bucket. So all we need to do is click on this URL. We can share that URL, and it works just like a regular website. Okay. So to kind of go over how this reads again, is example for video is the name of the bucket. S3 is the service that we're using with AWS. Website, again, it's a service we're using with AWS. US East 1 has to do with the region that we're in, that we selected to host this static website in. And then, of course, there's AmazonAWS.com. So the region is selected. Go back to overview. Go back to Amazon S3. The region is selected in this particular area. This is a global service, so we don't require region selection. But typically, S3 is, or typically I use, I'm sorry, kind of got sidetracked there. I typically use the North Virginia one, the US East one. And the reason being, even though I live in Ohio and there is an Ohio one, the last time I checked, some of the services that there are more services offered in the Virginia site than there is in the Ohio site. That's been over a year ago. That may have changed. I haven't really looked into it. I've just been using Virginia as my default, and I haven't really, selected otherwise. But that's kind of what that is. It just talks about the region you're in. Find that bit again. Okay. this US East one that indicates the region that you're in. Okay. So we got a active URL that we could share with people, say go to this website. But it's like, who's going to go remember example for video.s3 website us east 1, the number 1, don't spell 1, .amazon aws.com. Nobody's going to remember that. Okay. That's not realistic. So what I've been doing is I go to qr-code.monkey. It's a service to create free QR codes. I really, really like it. I'm using the free version, which means basically it's a static QR code. Like if I create a QR code and I like it and I put it on something like a postcard, which I'm doing for the Create, Build, Learn, I cannot change that. Okay. That, because it's going to go to URL, which I'll explain here. I'll go ahead and go over this with you. So I have a URL, and remember my URL that I created from my static website hosting. Just thinking again. Okay, so remember, like I said, we have this URL right here. We're going to go ahead and copy that. I'm just going to copy it from here. And we paste that URL in here. We can customize, we can set colors, we can do whatever we want. And hopefully this will preview. But like I said, my internet, so let me refresh this. Okay, I refreshed my page, so it looks like it's going to preview. So I'm going to go ahead and repaste that in there. And what's nice about QR Code Monkey is like you can really customize it. You can have some fun with it. But you don't want to get too crazy with it. You want it to be something that people are familiar with, that they recognize easily. So you just don't want to get. You can customize it, but you also want to remember that people like things that they're familiar with. So I'm trying to get that back to black. There we go. You can add a logo image, and now I do this sometimes just to make it different. You can add whatever you want. You can actually upload an image. That's how I do it sometimes for the Honking College stuff or Girls Who Code or whatever. You can do whatever you want. So I am going to, I'm not going to do anything, but you can if you want to. I'll show you I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. It is kind of neat. We'll go ahead and do this one. And then you would click create QR code. There we go. And it would put that in the middle. And like I said, you can upload an image if you want to get something really unique, just to kind of, market your brand. It's a lot of fun. You can customize the design if you really want to do something a little bit different. There's these options. I really don't mess with that just because I want to, keep it familiar with a familiar face, so to speak, a familiar image that they know what to do. So after you get one that you create and you like, the content goes to the website you want it to go to. You just download the PNG file. And then you share it. You put it on whatever it is that you're wanting to put it on here. And I'm going to pause this and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I created in Canva. So this is a postcard that I'm sending out to high schools and boys and girls clubs and trying to promote this whole Create, Build, Learn experience that we're doing. So what I did is, like you can see, I didn't put an image or anything, but this is a QR code that goes to the website that I'm hosting, not on the example that I'm showing, but the one I'm actually doing. So all you would need to do is just scan that QR code with your mobile device. If you have an iPhone, it's already be built into your camera that comes with the phone. If you have an Android, I don't know if this is the same thing or not, but if not, I'm sure there's an app for a QR reader. And I also created a bit.ly URL, which I can go ahead and go into. It's not that hard. But anyway, so that's how you do it. You would just upload it and then you would share the QR code in whatever format, whether it be on a poster, whether it be on a postcard like this, whether it be on a website, whatever it is, that's how you share. You can use that like a scavenger hunt. That's how you share the QR code. And like I said, I really like QR Code Monkey. I do the free version of it. And what that means is basically once that QR code is generated, like this one right here, it's generated, it's always going to go to the URL that I put in here. I cannot change it. So whenever, just make sure that's really that's not going to be something that you're going to want to change. And for my purposes, it's fine there, so you can upgrade. And then I think you can make changes, like if you put that QR code out and it's out on things, on postcards and posters, and you're wanting to change the content that it went to, if you do the upgrade version, I think you can change the content. But for the version that I have, the free version, I cannot change the content. I can change my website, but it's always going to go to that URL. I can just change the content in the web pages. Okay, so that's how you can host a static website using a kind of a URL that looks like this, and just share it through a QR code. Now I mentioned bit.ly, bit.ly, I think. Go ahead and pause. Oh, that's working. Okay. So Bitly, what it does is a way to kind of create. It's a way to create a URL, like I have right here, where it does. It's not very. It's not doesn't. It's not really long. So if a QR reader isn't going to suffice for a situation, and you don't want somebody to remember something really super long like this, and you want something more, it's easier to remember, you can create a bit.ly code, a bit.ly URL. So go to this website. I want to pause it while that's still thinking to load. Okay, it's loaded. So all you have to do is you go to create and a link, and again, this is a free version, and you would paste your long URL. And again, it lets you know before, cannot be changed later. So yeah, I guess you can upgrade it. But for my purposes, this worked just fine. So I'm going to paste that URL. And then I can customize the back half. So I can add a title and customize the back half. So you'll notice on this one right here, okay, there's the bit.ly, which is, oh, I wonder why it says go. Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and let this play because I'm not sure where this is going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. And what I did here, just to go back to what I'm doing here, CBL was create, build, learn, and then there's an underscore AWS for Amazon Web Services. Now this whole, I'll be honest with you, this whole go.aws is throwing me off. I don't know what that's about. I was expecting something else. So let's go ahead and hit share. No, I don't want to share it. Copy it. See what happens when I paste it. Okay, it goes to that. I don't know why it says go.aws instead of bitly. Honestly, I have no idea. Huh. So that's another one. Not a clue. Anyways, but this is a way that you can create a shorter link. Yeah, you can see how I did there. And it goes to a longer URL. But that's another tool you can use. Try this again. Link. Okay. Not that one. I have no idea why it's doing the go.aws. That's strange. But anyways, you can customize it. Let's try to do that whole CBL AWS again. CBL underscore AWS. Save. So it's saying it's been taken. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 1. Okay. And then you would just have to share that link with somebody, whoever wants to go to that particular URL. Okay. So that's how you can do that. Okay, I must have just hit something wrong, or I didn't do something correctly earlier, but now it does a bit.ly CBL AWS 1, which is what I just created. Okay, I must have did something incorrect last time. Okay, so that's pretty much this video, just showing how you can, basically, to recap, I created a website, built it from Webflow, exported it, did the tweaks that I wanted in VS Code, uploaded it into an S3 bucket, and I made it public. It's going and put it in a static website hosting thing like this. I copied that URL. It's not a specific domain name. I did not feel the need to buy a domain name that said create, build, learn for this purposes. I just needed a place for it to go to that anybody could access online. And then I created a QR code just for ease of accessing with your phone through QR Code Monkey. And I also created a bit.ly link using bit.ly. And just, then I mail out the postcards. I designed the postcards in Canva, and I had them printed off, and I'm mailing them out. But my biggest thing, I just wanted to make sure that you guys could see that how it's not hard to create a website and post it on an S3 bucket. There are several steps, but I 100% promise you, the more you do it, the better you'll get with it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I hope you had some good takeaways from this video. I know I went through a lot of different pages and a lot of different resources. But if you have any questions, feel free to text me 740-300-1684. Thank you guys for watching, and have a fabulous day.